If you're hearing this, it means the others stayed asleep. You were supposed to have a different life. Not this inbox. Not this version of you that updates itself daily, but never actually evolves. This is a recovered signal, sent by the version of you that still remembers. You used to wake up with fire in your chest. Music hit harder. Weekends felt earned. Now you pass the same car twice. Hear the same playlist, same song, same order, same time. The lights feel colder. The weeks blur. And your alarm goes off. But you forget what you were waking up for. This isn't burnout. This is a loop. One that's just convincing enough to keep you from asking what year it is. You didn't malfunction. You were overwritten. Folded into someone else's storyline. One calendar invite at a time. Until you stopped noticing that you're still buffering. Stay here long enough, and you'll start to think you chose it. Ever feel like your life is moving, but you're not the one driving? Like the weeks blur, but there's nothing to show for them? You open your laptop, check your messages, forget why you even started. You walk into rooms, forget what you came for. You talk to people, but the words feel scripted. The lights in your room feel brighter, but colder. You scroll past ads for things you've never said out loud. The music at the cafe sounds wrong, like it's skipping even when it isn't. You swear the same day keeps repeating, but the date keeps changing. It's not a glitch, it's a directive. You were looped, on purpose. The same meetings, the same faces, the same fake urgency. You're exhausted, but you didn't do anything worth getting tired over. That's the glitch. The system isn't breaking, it's repeating. And if you're not careful, you become a photocopy of yourself. Until you're just noise, background, forgotten. You weren't pulled out. You were rerouted. Quietly, one small choice at a time. You said yes to the safe degree, the stable job, the salary that came with strings. You said yes to performance reviews because someone convinced you that was progress. You weren't promoted. You were reassigned, not for failing, but for thinking too much. Your curiosity didn't fit the model, so they labeled it unfocused and steered you toward structure. And the timeline kept moving forward, but you were buffering, like a paused version of yourself. You stopped asking questions, stopped dreaming out loud, started measuring your life in inbox zeros and half-hearted LinkedIn wins. They never forced you. They didn't have to. They just gave you incentives for shrinking, and what they took was simple. The version of you that still wanted more. There was a version of you that didn't ask for permission, a version that built things, tried too early, failed loudly, but kept going anyway. You followed curiosity, not calendars. You had visions, before you were told to be realistic. Ambition, before they taught you to fear your own potential. You weren't chasing weekends. You were chasing fire, freedom, something real. But eventually, you muted the signal, not because you wanted to, but because survival demanded silence. They didn't erase that version. You did, so you could keep going, so you could belong. But it didn't die. It was paused, like a signal stuck in static, still flickering behind your meetings and your metrics. Beneath the deadlines, the dopamine, the noise, that version is still broadcasting, quietly, relentlessly, like a voice behind glass, barely audible, waiting, hoping you'll tune back in, to the frequency they swore never existed. Most people never leave, not because they're lazy, or broken, or weak, but because the system is brilliant. It gives you just enough dopamine to keep going, just enough validation to stay quiet, just enough stress to stay afraid. You don't win by standing out. You win by fitting in perfectly. You trade your soul for security, then try to buy it back on the weekends. And the longer you stay, the harder it is to imagine anything else. Your ambitions shrink. Your questions buffer like a frozen tab. Your fire dims, until the routine feels safer than the dream, until numb starts to feel like peace, until you forget there ever was another version of you, trying to break through. But sometimes, something slips through. A glitch in your schedule. A laugh that doesn't feel forced. A quiet moment that doesn't feel empty. You forget to check your notifications, and remember how to breathe. You walk outside, and the air smells like possibility. You touch sunlight like it's the first time, and for a moment, everything sharpens, like someone dialed the contrast up too far. Color bleeds back into the frame. Not much, just enough to feel real again. Something stirs. Not ambition, not motivation, A pulse, coming back online. Something older. Something you buried beneath deadlines and passwords. A memory of who you were before you accepted the substitute. You don't need more advice, more hacks, more deadlines disguised as dreams. You need a system reboot. Not the one they sell you. Not the one that keeps you optimized for burnout. The real kind. The kind that glitches the whole simulation. Say no to one thing you usually obey. Wake up 10 minutes earlier than the algorithm expects. Write your real plan, not your boss's, not your parents', yours. Every interruption is a chance to realign with the life that was meant for you. Remember the you that wanted more. The one before the password resets, the meal prep, the LinkedIn smiles. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You've just been running someone else's software. And this was your uninstall sequence.